My name is Gemma Jackson, I'm the production designer.
And my name is Michele Clapton, I'm a costume designer.
We're both here to tell you a little bit about how we approached our various design processes for this episode.
Yeah, often a great distance apart as well, I think.
The thing is that we met even before we did the pilot, and we kind of knew right there that we wanted to work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think we always had a sort of just a sense of colour, and it just seemed to work.
Yeah.
Fortunately, when obviously it wasn't a great time together sometimes.
It's been it was so easy, I think, actually, that there was hardly, I think we ever had one moment.
I think we had one, and we went,
the colour.
What was that?
It's been really, really good. And I think what's happened is that we've kind of inspired each other too. And then sometimes it's been a wonderful meeting of our two sets of imaginations when we've seen stuff on the sets, would you say?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm obviously I can wander off on and see your sets sometimes as they're progressing, so that's really helpful. Yeah. But obviously you're often away on a recceing or things, and you don't get a chance to come and see what I'm doing, and I'm really bad at emailing images.
Well, it's worked so far, so...
Yeah. And now we get to see this.
Well, exactly.
And I haven't seen this episode particularly, so it'll be interesting.
It's great. This is David and Dan's debut direction, so...
okay, yes, of course, yeah.
And that made it interesting. And this whole front piece has changed this season, hasn't it?
To reflect the various things happening, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. And I've always liked this music, actually.
Love the music.
Yeah.
Love it. There they are.
Our heroes.
What just says David Benioff?
I remember this. Yes, of course.
This is River Run.
Yeah. I was really excited about doing this, actually.
Were you?
Yeah, because I just wanted to get a bit of depth to Caitlin, because she was always a start, but I wanted to see where she came from. And
yes.
It was such fun creating the scaled armour. Because you see scaled armour so often, it's all and it's all regular, and I wanted every single piece cut separately.
Look at it, it's absolutely exquisite.
And they cast me, but I still think it was worth it.
Well, I was trying to do that with the fish, trying to I think we were both doing House Tully and sort of putting in those... I wasn't going to do the fish, and I thought, hell, why not, you know?
You have to, it's a sigil, isn't it?
Set it up, yeah.
If you see this all on the skirts, we found this wonderful felt that had a sort of slightly fishy sort of surface to it. So
gorgeous.
That was quite good.
Well, you do get to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And the castle in the background, which is River Run, we very loosely based it on Chateau Cheminceau in French, France, I mean, even. And the idea was it sits right across a river. And so you have this extraordinary quality when you're in it of the water flowing underneath it. But it's also quite defensive. So look, that's great.
Really beautiful. And also, for me, it was the influence. I wanted to show the influence that the Catelyn had on Winterfell. And so you see the neck pads here, which later you pick up, earlier you have noticed at Winterfell. And I felt it was her way of softening this sort of rather bleak place, and with all the embroidery and things. So I wanted it's some background story, really.
But I think that's what's made it so strong, though, carrying them through each year.
Yeah.
So you get this real sense of who they are.
And it just makes it much more interesting, because you can tell little stories by... Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you do the same with just the architecture. And there's always these little messages and pieces. This was actually very funny.
Beautiful.
That was Chris, wasn't it?
Very patient.
He had to stay very still for a very long time.
I know.
And we couldn't get down there when they were filming this. It was really frustrating.
Why? Because the road was so narrow.
Well, no, we couldn't get onto the platform because it was so crowded behind, and there was nowhere to hide.
It's actually a bit small. Now here we are inside River Run.
Yeah.
And I love this set. It was very wide.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel a little bit less kind of aggressive than some of the other sets.
It was the place I'd most wanted to live, actually.
Well,
in all the places. It had a sort of gentleness to it.
Yeah.
I love later on when she's looking out of the window at the countryside. It's just
really,
you get this lovely sense, and there's a line, I can't remember what it is about. The war could be one place, but it's absolutely not in another.
Yes, like now you see the water and...
So beautiful.
Wait for him to come to you. Seized an opportunity.
It was great for her as a character that this is you actually saw
her people,
her place, and I think it's really revealing about her as a character.
Yeah, poor thing.
I know.
Into our country where we could surround him and kill him. I wanted him to.
We try to pare him back a little bit as well, so he's not always fully armoured, and you see him as the boy sometimes.
I think that's lovely. Really, really nice. Well, also the heart. I mean, he's in love and...
Exactly. And he is a boy, really, although he's a king. I think in this series we try to show that more often. David and I am quite keen to have that.
Oh, that's rather nice. That's very nice.
And it shows a vulnerability, I think.
Yeah.
Anya really has one costume, so they're on campaign. They don't change that often.
Sure.
I
think
he's also highly intelligent. I mean, he's got a great character. This.
No.
I thought he was good actually.
The brother, isn't it?
Brothers, great grandsons.
He just plays it really well.
No.
Bit sort of stupid, really.
How many men? 208.
But with this whole set, we completely revamped from another set that was sitting there before, which was, and then it's going to turn into another set, which we see later on at the end.
Where was this one?
Sorry.
It was in...
I didn't know.
No, I mean, this was in one of the stages, one of the sound stages.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then it turned into something completely different.
And we don't go back?
Episode 10. No, we got rid of. I love these sort of edgings to the windows. I thought they were...
Yeah.
Now, this set I was very proud of. Because this is a King's Landing composite set, and we had one for season 1 and 2, and we just couldn't stretch it any further, so we built a new one, which is this one, which has...
I love it with the courtyard in the middle, and it has Tyrion's overlooking, doesn't
so you've got time in Tyrion, a wedding takes place there, a dining room, loads of different sets, and I loved it.
I thought it was really clever, and I think the light coming through those sort of openings there.
Nice.
But also I loved it. I think you had the tops of trees.
Yeah, that was
which gave the
Tyrion's.
height. Yeah, which I thought was really beautiful.
I like this sort of slightly Romanesque feel to it.
Yeah.
Look at that, isn't that nice? That sort of light coming through up there.
And lots of different light sources, which I quite like. It actually lit his Littlefinger. That's my favourite costume of his, actually. It just lights beautifully. Yes. And I was worried it was a little too much, but actually it really...
And in this here, it shows him up as being the sort of...
The new young, sort of new money, in a way.
Essex boy. And I like this whole thing about the chairs. We had to build that chair specially so she could lift it.
I was going to say, they look really heavy.
So that had to be built. And there was such a battle of powers of... Wait for it. I think this is next what happens now.
I think he drags it very noisily around, doesn't he?
Let's see who's really going to be...
I do think Charles' dance is great and his expression. Sometimes he has to say nothing. It's just...
I know. I actually think he was born to wear armour myself.
Yeah. I think he quite likes his leather coats, or sometimes I think he pretends he doesn't.
He, of course, is the star of the show, really.
Absolutely.
Intimate. Lovely table. Better chairs than the...
It's funny because at one point we thought about painting this a colour, and I tried some different colours, and nothing really worked. It was much better just to keep it neutral, and then it's actually much better for all the costumes and the colours that come in and out, and it's easier to keep it moving into other making it into other spaces.
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes obviously we do talk about interior colours and try and play it, but I think it's lovely to have this sort of
all those. Oh, it's lovely, and look at all those all your lovely leathers and browns.
And the red plays against it very well, and of course that's the Lannister.
I adore the way these necklines this year, really, like her dress. You've done some absolutely gorgeous necks.
Well, I sort of wanted to take...
I think I'd like a dress like that myself.
Well, Marjorie had the really extreme version of that in her past, and I wanted in a way that Cersei had spotted it and sort of made her own version, like, I'm so on it.
Yes.
But actually had made it a little better. Marjorie's was a little bit gauche because she was young, and... But then when Marjorie finally arrives, she doesn't do that. So it's almost like she's caught off guard. So it was trying to set up this lovely battle of costumes. And there's a lovely, I think, phrase where I think Joffrey's looking at a little piece of fabric or something, and Cersei says that looks about there's enough fabric there to make a dress for Marjorie. It's just a sample. So I quite like that sort of,
I think she's so gorgeous, Lena Headey. I think she's absolutely stunning in this.
And I forget sometimes that she has dark hair because I think the blonde hair looks so natural on her. Although people say she has dark eyebrows, well,
Well, so does
do lots of people.
Emilia, but I mean, most people paint their eyebrows dark anyway. They're blonde.
I do.
I don't know why she hasn't had more accolades, this one. I think she's stunning.
I think so.
Master of coin.
And it's quite understated, and I mean, she doesn't actually. I mean, her lines are very direct and very good and very smart, but there's a lot of it. There's just her asides and her looks, and I think she really does it.
Here.
I like the sort of conversations between her and Tyrion as well. I quite like the sort of brother sister.
Nasty, but. So here we are. This is another bunch.
Oh, this is Noah Taylor.
So this is wonderful Northern Ireland scenery, which I mean is just such an amazing part of.
You mean you didn't plant those trees?
Well, actually,
I thought you. But sometimes I walk into your sets and I think, what has she done here? And then you show me it's all sort of hardboard and painted. I go, oh God, I didn't even realise, which means it's good, obviously.
But I think this is one of the huge bonuses of Game of Thrones in Belfast is the landscape there. I mean, it is so fabulous.
It really is. I mean, I just got back from New Zealand, and I just think some parts of Belfast are so like New Zealand.
They
It's
are
just,
actually, yes.
and much closer, obviously.
Yeah.
Really stunning. I had no idea how beautiful it was there.
And I think we've used it, and people worried about whether there's anywhere else. I think there's always going to be more places to go to.
Those beautiful little harbours we used are just divine.
Up on the North Antrim coast.
Yeah. I mean, really, incredible.
Absolutely made to be filmed in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This too, I think the character of these two is a fabulous.
I love them. And I love them sort of on and off screen, the way they sort of confuse each other and misunderstand each other. There's lovely banter between them.
Yeah. But what she's got on now is what she would have had underneath her armour, I guess. So that's why it's pretty dreary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what they wore, not too heavy and thick, but I'm going to start padding those a bit more, actually.
Oh, that might be quite nice.
I just think it's good, because so when people do take it off, there's a little bit more, even if it has a sigil or something on it.
Yes.
But
how often do you actually see them for months on end in there?
Very rarely, although I think I've learnt with Rob, it's actually quite nice to see them less dressed.
If I had a proper forge, I could make it good as new. Doesn't have to look pretty.
I loved him, actually.
What's his name, that guy?
Paul Kay, Thoros Amir.
Now, this is the old inn at
brilliant.
Crossroads.
Yes, it is, which we did in the first season, wasn't it?
Many times, yes. We've seen it, and the second season. And now we're back again. And I love that thing. It's something to actually return to locations in different states of repair, because it gives you a sense of place, And this now shows you that there's been a war raging. The place has been burned and ransacked.
It was the last time it was full of Lannister costumes, and they were on their travelling back
Exactly.
to King's Landing,
having lovely food and things.
Where Sansa was trying to sort of emulate Cersei in her little homemade dress. And the Hound. I think he's got the same costume as he had in season 1. It is interesting, though. I hadn't really thought about that. How it's really good to revisit these.
Yeah,
places.
I think it is, because I think it makes it feel like sort of real life. A bit like you probably put people into the same clothes again. Sometimes,
But all these nowadays, the costumes are all sort of eclectic and bashed and broken and ramshackled. I mean, Arya has the same costume. I don't see the point of changing costumes if they're travelling for the sake of change. I mean, I think you have to tell the story. Whilst at court, you can change the costumes continually.
Sure.
But again, I like people re-wearing. I don't like this and another new costume. Thank goodness.
Look at her, she's so horrible. What is that? We know what that is. Look, instantly.
A dinosaur.
It's a direwolf.
Yes, it is.
He's so sweet, that guy.
That's the tail.
Yeah, I think he looks so much better now. I like his hair.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of calmed everything
He's
down
relaxed
a bit.
into it a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think the first time he looked very, almost modern in his face,
Yeah.
but now he looks, I really think, very handsome.
I've seen him doing some other things. I think maybe he wasn't that experienced at the beginning, and then he's got just more relaxed in the role.
Yeah. He has his role really develops this season as well, much more, and I think that's good.
Goodbye, hot pie.
I've got a streaming cold.
A moment of sadness.
Yeah. Charred wood.
Of course, was Ned Stark here last time we visited?
Yes.
Must have been, mustn't he?
Yes, and that whole scene with the dead butcher boy and all the rest of it.
That was it, yeah. And the Hound, and of course the Hound is there again.
Hey, hot pie.
That's quite interesting.
It's really
must be forgiven.
This was the scene I love, looking out of
Oh,
the window.
this is gorgeous. This is what it's supposed to be like, isn't it? And you get the light coming through. Look at that beautiful view.
And I think she's so gorgeous. I just love her, Michele Fairley.
You completely believe that you're on that river,
Yeah.
don't you? You know,
It's the light. You can almost smell.
Father missed you too.
in the kind of
The day you left.
acrobatics we had to go to get that view.
Really.
Kind
You
of-
see, I have no knowledge of what you do sometimes. I'm back at base.
It was quite a tricky one, but I think it's totally believable.
That's I don't understand. I mean, I'm there with my department all the time, sort of trying costume, but you have to be everywhere. I mean, you're wrecking here, there. I mean, and that's why we never get to see each other. And we're also running
Exactly.
to...
That's why it's so gaga making, really.
I just don't. I really don't know how you do it.
I don't think he remembered what started it.
That floor that you saw just now, that came from a pottery in Staffordshire. Really? It's like the most fantastic. I tell the world about this construction manager called Tom Martin, who is sensational. And he just loves finding things. And he comes up and he says, Gemma, I've just... And he shows me the most extraordinary things. And one of them was this huge pile of bits of wood, which turned into that floor. I mean, absolutely exquisite. That's a lovely shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All those lovely finishes.
Wait for me, little cat.
He's just made actually a table using
yeah?
the gates of car. This amazing table.
Yeah. Oh, that what a brilliant idea.
It's beautiful.
What a brilliant
He's
idea.
such
Where
a
is
clever
it?
man. In the new meeting room.
Mm.
When the sun came up.
Brilliant. Very
It
good.
does look very beautiful.
Yeah.
You'd be very proud. It's
Yeah.
all glass covered and it's
Oh, how
just
lovely.
stunning. And
Oh, it makes me want to cry when I hear that.
I'll take a photo.
So hard, it really is.
But
For me to return. I will never see them again.
You mustn't think it. We don't know the truth. They could be in
very
hiding.
moving.
Poor thing.
I know, sometimes I don't think... I mean, because she's always so sort of... I don't know, such a difficult relationship with Rob. Sometimes you forget all the horror that she's going through, you know, to lose her children, to not know where they are, to lose her husband.
Her father, to be sort of in trouble with her son.
Yeah. I think it shows huge strength of character.
Yeah.
But there's the moments like this, I think, are
Yeah.
wonderful. I think this season, she just is beyond brilliant.
Is it true what they say about him?
I don't know. What do they say about him?
That the concerning
I just
stories?
worked with him on another movie.
It seems quite good. This is very hard for them to shoot in here because it was very, very small.
What's this? Was this in...
It's actually underneath where the brothel is.
Aren't you?
Martin
So,
understands.
you know the brothel location?
Yes,
This is in the basement of that place.
You've nothing to fear.
And we just sort of stripped it back a bit because it was had been a bit modernised, and we just...
Unless it's
Because I also remember the first season we shot the phrase
midnight, is it?
in a hall which existed, didn't we? And then you built the new one, didn't you? The
phrase?
The phrase, Walder Frey.
Yeah, sort of. It half... Oh, look, this is amazing. Yes, it half existed. We built it into an exterior kind of area, and then we had to start again. Now, this is the Fist of the First in Iceland.
Yeah.
And this is amazing because they were there and they were going to create a sort of storm for the scene. And blow me down, it snowed more than it had snowed
I was there.
forever.
I was
yes.
there. And I remember they just had to keep clearing
Yeah.
the snow off these horses.
So that you could see them.
Yeah. And actually, when you were talking to them, the continuity was really hard because their beards kept
Yeah.
freezing, but
Yeah.
within moments.
Look, I mean, that's amazing.
It was beautiful.
Obviously, visual effects came to our rescue, but we did quite a big chunk in the middle.
Oh, no, it was quite a big bit. But
Yeah.
to keep it clear of snow was almost impossible
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to have the hoods off.
I think these costumes are absolutely sensational, Michele. Because I remember when I went over there with one. Do you remember to try it out?
yes, you did.
And I had to get their construction guy, who stood in the middle of a car park in his pants, putting on your costume. He'd all do anything, you know. And it just instantly looked incredible
And it was
against
so
the ice and snow.
And I didn't really know that's why we sent it with you, because we
Yeah.
couldn't go
No,
there.
you were quite right.
And it was like, because you don't know how white to make it anyway.
Yeah.
I was really happy. And it's so completely different from all the other
Yeah.
costumes. I just love doing this. We have a fantastic girl, Lena, who actually puts most of these together by hand.
Oh,
And
my
she's
goodness.
I think I did 2 or 3 of them. We all had to do 1 or 2 each.
Yeah.
But she was so much better than us.
They're absolutely exquisite. They're really, really great. And you feel like they're really cosy in them as well.
Well, they are. When they put them on in the morning, they lay down on the floor and they all go to sleep, because some have to start dressing at 3 in the morning. So they're like kippers. They all just
You can see
line
they're
up.
genuinely not... I mean, it must have been cold with all that snow going on,
Yeah.
but they're genuinely not cold.
No, they're pretty good.
Quite
actually.
happy acting. And
No, they seem pretty fine. And I think the
I love him. I think he's
Icelandics were incredibly relieved, the Icelandic extras, that the costumes were actually really
Yeah,
warm.
I bet.
I give the signal, hit them in the night. They've got a
Kit, were you
big old
saying
wall to hide behind.
you love?
Yeah,
Kit Harington. Oh, which one? Sorry.
him. Kieran Hines. I've known him for years.
I always see your signal.
Send your eagle above the wall every night. When it's time, I'm going to light the biggest fire the North has ever seen.
Hines was great, actually, I have to say.
He is one of the
he's
greatest
got this
actors.
Wonderful face.
I thought they were so great to get him.
Oh, yeah, really lucky.
Ghost?
Look at this. This is, I think, quite moving when they come back.
Yeah. And this is shot in Belfast, isn't it?
Yep, this is Belfast,
Yeah.
and this set has really, really had a sort of life of its own, I think. It's like a character almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we decided this year to have more mud and less sort of snow scattered, so it's not quite so picturesque.
Said almost it's more used and worn.
Exactly.
And
Because if you think about, Boston streets, aren't you? There are always great piles of filthy black snow
Yeah.
everywhere. So that was the idea here. And it's cold and miserable. I mean, he might live there, but my goodness.
And it
me.
would be, I think, more like, because they're constantly tramping around, and it is. I think it really works with all the textures, and it just feels grim, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
really, really grim. Then he treats them like such rubbish as well.
Yeah, but not as badly as they're going to be treated by others.
That's true.
It's quite pleasant with him, I suppose. Well, not pleasant. We wove their costumes, the girls, out of. We just thought they would have parts of like bits of rabbit that they could get, and it's woven with grass and all sorts of just stuff. So we
gorgeous.
actually, wove all the tops from.
I mean, actually, this whole episode is quite kind of monochromatic, isn't it, until you get to Morocco. It's all quite low-key.
I think actually I might have put this one as my choice.
Did you?
For the Emmys, yeah, because I just thought it was a really
I think
good
for you, it's a
range
really
of
good one,
costume.
actually. Yeah.
I mean, there are some flashier, bigger things later on, but actually I just thought this was just...
Yes. But I do think these textures are exquisite. And they were just the wood in the background.
Again, it really
sort of-
marries with the background, and I think you sort of believe that they're there. Samwell.
Right with the gods. The real gods.
Oh, dear.
And did you construct that whole building?
Yeah, we did. The wonderful Ash Jeffers worked on it with me, and it was one of his sets. But we started from scratch, and we built it. And what's great is it's actually, as I say, it's weathered over there. It's just sat there all the time.
So it's got better and
So
better.
it's just got better. Look at these.
I know.
It's got better and better, and you can feel the stink in there almost, and it's like too many holes for it to be very warm.
I think we find this with the costumes, they get better, I mean, especially this type of costume, every year.
Exactly.
And although I suppose the actors wish we did clean them more, I'm just not prepared to do so.
They give them a clean sweatshirt.
Oh, yes, of course. I know, underneath they have their own.
Sure, they're not
personal
crawling
stuff.
with lice or anything.
Oh, no. It's all perfume. No, they do work clean under things, but I just think it looks...
It's interesting because I thought the first time we did this set we overdressed it a bit, and we've stripped back since then, and I really like it the way it's out here. I love all this, but there was almost too many bits of leather and too many bits, and I think now it's just kind of really austere and cruel somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the interesting thing about doing a series. So often on films you do something and that's it.
That's true,
You don't have a
actually.
chance to go back and
Very,
readdress
very
it and
true.
think it through. And I actually really enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I'm mortified by some of the early stuff I did.
Yeah.
But, I've learnt a lot from
Yeah.
it and it moves forward. And you say actually less is more quite often.
I've more and more.
And I'm
I find
learning.
that. Yes.
I really am.
Well, I think also because it is television, so there is not enough time for big, wide establishing shots. So they do tend to keep quite close, which sometimes for the designer can be disappointing because you've done all these great, big, huge
Wide.
spaces.
Yeah.
That you have to remember all the time. Oh, look, I think that's amazing the way they did that.
But also, when we went to LA and saw it on the screen at the...
yeah, that's true.
It actually held up really well.
Totally.
It didn't look like television on the screen at all.
No, there were no finishes that were embarrassing.
No, which I'm often worried about because, that's not the format, obviously, it's made for. But it is made for that, actually.
Yeah. Here's poor Theon.
Yeah, he's not having a great time, is he?
It's not his episode, really, this one. Great image. Trouble is, he never learns. The minute he sort of thinks it's all right, he becomes...
Alfie Allen is amazing.
He is. He is an extraordinary piece of acting.
I think it was quite hard this season for him as well. I mean, it's quite physical,
I mean, it's horrible. I mean, the whole film, it mustn't no giveaways or anything, but this whole season is...
And such a turnaround for his character, in a way.
That's what I mean, in a way. He doesn't sort of learn. The minute he thinks he's all right again, he suddenly gets...
But he does make that rather lovely, that rather amazing speech where he actually does open his heart, and you just think, oh my God, you do realise. Yeah. And just he does that, he gets stuffed again. So it's like, for one moment, you just see the sad little boy.
I don't even really understand properly who's doing all this.
I think it becomes apparent.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Well, I think so.
This is gorgeous. So this is up on the North Antrim coast.
Tell me where you're going.
This is absolutely stunning, I think.
The fires will show me.
Oh, yeah.
It's just around the corner from Downshire Beach, and look at those beautiful cliffs.
I will never abandon you.
So you did a lot of work on her, didn't you?
Yeah, and they took her she's much less red this season, actually. Her hair, I think the shades came down, and tried to make her a little bit more earthy, I guess, less sort of high priestess.
Right.
Which I think works, actually.
Oh, definitely, yes.
I sort of wanted her to be that sort of priestess, but actually then it takes it sometimes somewhere else. And when the boys first said it, David and Dan said it, I thought, oh, really? I thought it was really good. But actually then you look at it and you see this now.
Yeah.
And it just gives more depth to her character. You can see how she can manipulate people rather than this woo-woo magic.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's quite... I think he's just genius.
Oh, he's wonderful, that actor.
Yeah, I think he's one of my favourite actors in the show, actually.
He's an extraordinary man because he's almost like chameleon. You could sort of not see him for 2 years and someone would say his name and you think, oh, hang on, I know that name. And then he looks different in everything he does.
But he has this weird strength, this real passion and anger, and I'm just really mesmerised by him, actually.
There is another way, a better way.
Really good.
You told me your magic requires a king's blood.
Yes.
I'm the one true king.
You are. But there are others.
It's always this thing, I mean, when we first met, it was that idea of that we have to define all these different eras, and because we have spent such fleeting moments in each storyline, it's always just trying to keep it separate in some way.
Yeah,
and
so you kind of know where you are a bit.
A bit harder.
Yes, harder and harder.
I know we sort of purposely put things to one side. Oh,
voila, here we are with some
It helps
sunshine.
that we changed to a completely different space.
It's such a relief, isn't it? The sunshine, the light, the colour. Now, I've got to tell you that where all those crosses are, there are these cannons that can't be moved. And it was a huge, huge problem. And other films have been there. Nobody could do it, not just us. So we decided to use them. And we made these beautiful boxes and put those crucifix forms on them. So it became a part of an actual integral part of the whole place.
Oh, how clever.
Rather than, I was really, really pleased with the solution.
Again, I didn't realise that because by the time I got there...
Never talked to you about it, no.
And I think you'd already left.
I was in Wadazat by then.
Oh, right.
But look at that lovely blue sky.
We had hell with the blue dress because we wanted this really intense blue, which for various reasons is a good colour for Danny.
Stunning, I think.
But in the Moroccan sun, I mean, I went 2 days later. Went, I've washed the dress. Why is the dress so much paler? And the sun bleached it.
Oh my God!
It just bleached it so much in 2 days. We had to make another one.
Crikey, I didn't know that.
But also because then we had to do pickup shots from the ship.
Oh yeah.
And of course the colour and the reference between. I mean, so we had to remake a dress so that they could drop the shots in.
That's amazing.
But the sun is so intense there. But this was the first day we shot with it, so it's quite blue.
Yeah.
I think other days.
No, didn't she wear it in Dan's episodes, 1 and 2, wasn't she?
She wore it on the boat going out.
And then what about with that the little boy and everything? Is that not?
Oh, maybe that was there actually. Yes. Maybe that. Or is this the silk one? No, this is still the linen.
Yeah.
But it was an early days. I think
Right.
it's when we were out in the desert part near the oasis.
Ah,
It
yes.
was out on those.
Yeah.
It just bleached it like crazy. And we had fun with this because we wanted Jorah to have made the step. He's gone slightly more ethnic, so we gave him this new armour, and he's got the sort of snake serpents on the shoulders, and sorry, the dragon tails on the shoulders. And I just wanted Barristan to arrive and just go, "What happened to you?" So Barristan's taken the look that what's the name had before.
Yeah.
And
Got you.
I just like this sort of funny
Yeah.
little.
Look at that, though. Isn't it gorgeous?
Isn't that gorgeous?
And here's this great big statue that obviously we stuck on the top. Which was a huge amount of conversation about. It went backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And then this was actually a market, a hugely bustling, busy market.
You see, I only saw it like this.
Asked them to all to clear off. And then we built this quite sort of theatrical set in a way. And it was supposed to be in some terribly grand room in the script. But I felt that there just was pointless. The rooms we went to have a look at were absolutely not interesting. And it was much more interesting being within the architecture of the place. So we used the architecture and built this beautiful screen for them.
Sandra's dress is a feat of engineering.
Oh my God, I don't know, there's stunning. She's so gorgeous, that girl.
She's really beautiful.
She always says, "Hello, how are you?"
She's very sweet. And actually, this was her first scene, I think, and as she walked away, the buckle came undone on the back of her dress and it nearly fell off. You don't see it, but she went, "Oh great, my first time on set, my dress nearly falls off." After that, it didn't. But I think it's the first time we put it on. I thought he was very good, actually. Yeah.
Will buy you 100 unsullied.
Again, they work in that space.
Yeah, it just filled the space, and we were worried it was going to be big enough. But and I love the harpy.
Great sigil.
The sigil. Yes, it is a sigil. Absolutely, we decided to really go for it because it's such a great image.
I like the way some of the sigils have been reworked.
Yeah.
They look much more interesting. I was looking at Brienne's yesterday just to get some ideas.
Good.
Really nicely done, really beautifully done.
Well, Michael's back there doing them more, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's so good, that young man.
Master Krasner's asked.
So you have different people who do different sets.
Absolutely. Well, not so much. Yeah, different
or
people are in
run them, or
charge of
manage
different
them.
sets, but then we have different people. Like Michael does all the graphics. So although ultimately me and then David and Dan had the sort of last word.
Sure.
And Rob, who's the set decorator, will sort of encourage him and help him. He's the one slogging away trying to find things. Similarly, Max Berman on this year was doing all the kind of props and the set deck stuff. So although Rob and I are kind of chivvying him along, ultimately we don't show things to David and Dan until we're quite excited about them, and then we get their feedback.
So they have to do a lot of the groundwork, really. I mean, just because as you said, Rick is doing design.
And then Christina, who was my supervisor in Morocco, she was there all the time, seeing all the nitty-gritty, all the kind of I's dotted and T's crossed, and I'd come along and kind of go, "Oh, we've got to do this, or we've got to do that."
It's so hard to keep an eye on everything.
Yes, it is. That's why you have to have really good lieutenants.
You have to trust them.
Your people. You've got to have people you trust. Or what I decided was you've got to respect them enough that if they make a decision, even if it might not be the one you would have made, that it's a decision that you can respect.
Yeah, I know.
And you might be thinking, oh, but at the same time, they've got very good taste and they're making good decisions. And I think that's the only way you can do it, really. So all this is normally full of market and
I didn't see
madness.
It like that.
You're both here to advise.
Yeah, it's like Alex and Chloe.
Yeah.
They both run different areas. Chloe runs very much the sort of southern and the very far north, more sort of creative textury stuff, and Alex does a lot of the soldiery and all the men. Yeah,
and wonderful, all this gorgeous armoury. And
although Chloe worked on all this because there's a southern, so Chloe would do all the men on this one.
Oh, okay.
And it was interesting coming up with the Unsullied because the descriptions of the book are obviously quite different to this. But we kept the idea of the sort of point on the sort of shape on the head, the point.
Yeah.
But we also knew that in Morocco you have so many different shapes and sizes of people. We had to try and unify them somehow.
Yeah, quite right.
And also having that face mask actually makes them very anonymous.
I think it's a very clever thing to do. Yeah.
I think we found the inspiration in Florence, bizarrely, in the Stivet Museum, some Indian armour.
It's extraordinary where things come from, isn't it? I love it.
But I'm always looking at bits and pieces wherever I am.
Yeah. I'm still looking at things. I see things, and I go, "Oh my God, Game of Thrones," all the time. It's amazing. Once you start, I think it goes right back to talking to George Martin once, and he said the same thing. Well, he could just take little things that inspired him, and he'd just sort of feed them into his worlds. And I think we've done that too.
And that's the joy of this, because you don't have to have historical reference,
no,
whatever.
not at all.
But I still think you have to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it.
Yeah, and that's also quite fun, the logic thing of it.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, I hate it when there's no logic to shows. It just drives me insane.
And I think that's why this is probably, why people do enjoy this, because I think they enjoy. There are all these fans who are so they know everything about Game of Thrones. I think although we've done very different things, I don't think
they might not always like what I do.
No, but we've kind of given them a continuity that they seem on the whole to appreciate.
Well, I hope they respect that we actually care about what we're doing quite a lot, even if they don't always like exactly what we've done.
Now this is the brothel. And this is a new set, which was his office, which we'd never had before.
Oh no, we haven't, have we? Where was Malta the first time we shot the brothel, wasn't it?
Yeah. The original set was Malta, and then we've got the whole big kind of hanging out area in this building, and then we've done this.
I love that orange.
I love the orange. It is my favourite.
It's my favourite colour as well. Don't make me make you the orange jacket. Oh, I must show you how to wear it.
You made me a lovely orange jacket, exactly.
I have to show you which way up to wear it.
Yes, you do, actually. That's a very good point.
I sure will mind today.
I think we've been quite sort of good that we haven't thrown too much orange into the film, actually.
Yeah, it could have all been orange, really. It could have been like a Hare Krishna set.
Yeah, that could have been a slight problem.
Special relationship.
And there's that gorgeous jacket again he's wearing.
Yeah, it does. I was so surprised.
Tyrion's looking quite dull here. What's he got on?
He's a bit depressed.
A bit depressed.
And yeah, he's not enjoying his life.
No, he's
at the
not
moment.
really.
He's got a lot of issues. So I still try and do that in the costume. Whereas, he feels so on the up at the moment. He feels very full of himself and happy. And he feels a bit bleak,
All these images of the paintings, they're all kind of lifted from Pompeii.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, not literally, but kind of in the spirit of. Because they were so modern, those paintings. All the people, everybody had their own mural in their house, and we just sort of use that sort of sense. And they're sort of painted in a really lovely, thin sort of way.
So it's not overworked.
Yeah, exactly. They're all around the actual brothel room and everything.
Yeah. Actually, there aren't that many naked women in this particular episode.
Oh, wait.
Surprised. Oh, are there? I spoke too soon. Actually, it's quite good for me because it means just the costume's ticked off quite quickly.
Rip them off. So this is all kind of general carry on.
To hide what he's really up to. Unless he made it all up, yes.
And it's quite nice because those windows, they all started in Morocco again, and then we've just carried them through and through. So they're great because you don't see the fact that there's beautiful green lawns and Irish trees out there. You just heat coming through.
And it is that lovely lighting.
Yeah, you believe you're still in a warm place. And
I like the lighting so much more on this series, actually.
Year 3.
This year 3.
Yes.
I just
look at
think
that.
it's
gorgeous.
Stunning.
This is matte, isn't it?
Yes. I think
See, look, they all come out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is this where we had the contortionist?
Yeah.
This is my favourite. I think I finally managed to shock David and Dan because they put an eye on her crotch.
Well,
they've just
he Pod's absolutely kind of mesmerised by it.
It's very funny. I don't think they shot. They just thought, what goes on in your mind, Clapton? I just laughed so much with that costume.
Thank you for staying by my side as the battle.
I did speak too soon, didn't I? God.
Yes, you did.
I forgot this bit.
A bit more orange in there. That's
Very
just more
quick
red.
costumes.
Here you are.
Here we go. Look at the eye. I just so love that eye. It makes me laugh every time.
Pod's completely. Oh my God, this is hilarious. That is pretty astounding.
Be back in time for my supper.
I mean, she is a performer. She's not a stripper. So.
She's fabulous.
She was great. She was really
Something out of a
suspicious
Neil
when she
Jordan
came in.
film.
Yeah, she was a bit like, well, what am I? Oh.
Really? Oh,
I think
poor
she
thing.
was just very nervous about it.
So this is part of that composite set. So you had Tywin down with his courtyard, and then actually it's the same courtyard,
Here's the
completely
treetops.
redressed to make you feel like you're high up the
Exactly.
treetops.
I thought that was so clever.
I just love doing that sort of thing, though. It just makes me so happy.
I love the wind machine, just making the...
Yeah, a little bit of movement.
It just makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a set.
I agree.
And I think in season 1 we didn't have so much movement sometimes. And but again, you learn.
You learn, absolutely. I think we've all learned. And I think just I like this because the idea is that he's a kind of collector. He's actually a very erudite guy
Yeah.
underneath his sort of exterior, and so he's collected things around the world or wherever he's been on his travels, and he's got an inquiring mind. Actually, oh, that's lovely. That jacket, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cut leather.
But again, you don't want to sort of stuff it with too many things. Again, you're in danger a little bit, I think, of perhaps too much stuff. I don't know.
Actually, that's always the side of Tyrion we don't particularly explore. I mean, there's always references to him reading, and I know when he's in the cell that Podrick bought him stuff. But I mean, he's quite a literary man. He's interested in a lot of things that most of them are not interested in at all.
He's not just into war and
and drinking.
I mean,
and
they all
whoring
say that he's into drinking and whoring, but they just nobody knows him.
No,
you know, poor guy.
Because actually, he is with the one.
He loved that. Yes.
The lad's practically skipping. You were gone a long time. I trust you got your money's worth, or should I say my money?
Again, the colours. The colours in here, we try to keep it sort of. It's a little bit more terracotta coloured, but again, it was better just to keep it in those sort of earthy colours, which goes with the whole King's Landing Mediterranean feel, I think.
Then I love it when you go into some of those rooms which is like that pale green with the birds. Oh, to me, those
that
are
was
the most
in.
glorious. Was it?
Well, that was Nedard, the Hand's room. Ned Stark, and then we've actually. That's just one other. It doesn't really figure this year.
No, not so much. I just remember walking into that room.
Love that.
I want to live here.
They're paid to seem to like it.
Only they weren't paid.
But I think you're right. I think also it's that sort of thing of the Lannisters are in power, and it's that sort of red. It's that strength all the time. Which is why now I'm with Marjorie. I'm starting to put the blues in its influence. The court, the young girls are wearing blue.
Oh, interesting.
So. The older women wearing the red of Cersei, and even the people who are wearing red sometimes are wearing in the shape of Marjorie. So it's just this horrible sort of turning of the wheel. And
oh God, that'd be so interesting. I'll have to come and take a look.
Fun how it goes. I mean, it starts.
So this is these fabulous. Again, sort of the.
It's like a painting.
The Irish landscape is out of this world. I mean, you wouldn't. And what's so great about it, it's also close. You've got all the different things within 45, 50 minutes, more or less. Sometimes an hour if you're really pushing it.
But I can't think of anywhere else in the UK that you have all these facilities and
huge contrasts and everything. Yeah.
And they're improving the studios all the time as well.
Yeah.
So all the actors learn to ride some are better than others, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think he's
pretty
Theon's
good.
not bad, is he?
I think he's doing most of it himself.
I think he is.
Up at the top of the edge of the Mourne is coming down into that.
He did that bit.
I doubt it. It's probably Camilla or something.
Yes. Lovely Camilla.
But look, it's beautiful.
See all this? I mean, really.
A really lovely episode, this one.
It's so difficult because we have to often choose for the Emmys before they're finished.
I know. I didn't put this one down. I think
What did you do?
Well, I can put down 2.
Right.
So I put down 1 and 5.
Ah, okay.
This is another nasty bunch.
And they're dressed as the Iron Islanders, aren't they?
Horrible.
We deal with runaways here, dear.
Oh, that's right.
Stunts were good, I think, and
Yes.
very believable.
And I think you need this level of balance probably to keep it.
Well, I think it's all to do with balance again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poor Alpha's bottom.
I'm gonna fuck you into the dirt.
No, please! No, no, no! 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 No, please! No! No!
Where was this shot? I don't think I.
It's on the edge of the Mourns. It's in that huge park. I think what the hell it's called. It's where we did a lot in the first year, and then we didn't do much in the second.
Okay. Was it where we had it covered in snow?
Yeah.
I thought. Okay. Yeah. That seems such a long time ago, doesn't it? I mean, my 5th year now of being there. Really, 5th? Yeah, because we did the pilot. And 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 5th year. Gosh. It's amazing how it's moved on, I think.
It's extraordinary.
Come, my lord. You're a long way from home. Winter is coming.
He's so gullible, isn't he, and so vulnerable in a funny way. I suppose he always has been.
That beautiful light. So this is...
Again, it's the lighting, isn't it?
This is the same estate, actually. Craster's Keep is just down the road. It's not supposed to be, but it's in the same estate.
You know, lighting is so important, I think. You know, we can work our guts out and make something which we think looks beautiful, and if it's overlit or it just looks so cheap and nasty, and finally, I think it's improved season by season, but I think this just looks fabulous.
You're only making it worse.
Funny, there are so many references to blue. You know, she's at the Sapphire Islands. Ned Stark was very blue. There's Danny was very blue, and it's always really difficult to keep finding all the different blues that say so much about people. I've just been designing her new stuff, and it's trying to find the right blue,
The right blue,
or the blue that's left.
You know who she is, don't you? Some big dumb bitch from who cares where. Never been with a woman that big.
She's Brienne of Tarth. Her father's Lord Selwyn Tarth.
I keep meaning to watch actually back over all the episodes, just to, you know, to actually, God, it would take too long, but
it would take too
just
long.
to go all the way through it, just to see the development, and actually, I think it would be really useful.
Yeah, I don't know if we were watching some on holiday for Christmas time, I think episode season 2, because Andrew hadn't really seen anything, and to be honest, it's just, it's even better than season 2.
Yeah.
We thought season 2 looked good, but I think season 3 is absolutely...
Well, it's good that it's going in the right direction.
Oh,
Horrible
yeah.
if it was like, oh no, what happened? Where's it gone?
I know, exactly. And look how it sort of hit the headlines and everything. It's sort of, the whole world seems to be watching it.
Yeah, it's quite fun, isn't it?
Bring her back here.
It's just daunting as well sometimes. It's a huge responsibility.
Well, it is, yeah.
And I mean, I think I can get a bit overwhelmed by it, but ultimately I think you just have to keep doing what you think makes sense to yourself. And if people don't agree, well, yeah, but they're not doing it.
No, exactly.
So I don't really...
I know.
And I think if you start trying to please people, then you lose your way.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
4 hours every day, holed up in the Mace's chamber.
But that's why it was so good between us, because there was that innate understanding and...
Yeah, well, I suppose you're outing me here that I'm not coming back to do anymore, aren't you? I've kept a bit quiet about that.
Well, no, I didn't. I haven't said that, but it just, it's...
No, it's such a huge decision. I don't know. I watch it and I'm heartbroken. I think I'm probably completely off my rocker. But I didn't have a life. I was in danger of losing a marriage and my life and my friends and everything, because I just never saw anybody. If I did, I was so half dead.
And I almost made the same decision, because again, I'm always away, and my family, and I mean, luckily Russell can come and see me a little more often. But
he's a lot better than my partner.
But your partner works a lot more, probably.
It's just got to be just not feasible. But it makes me quite upset when I watch this,
because it's like my baby. And I know you feel the same.
Absolutely, and I can't even think about what somebody else is going to do with it next year. I just I can't go there.
I know, and that's why I'm sort of made me go back. It's a really tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's heartbreaking, really, because I read other scripts and nothing comes up to it after Game of Thrones. It's an absolute nightmare to think about what to do next. Absolute nightmare.
I suppose because there's always something new, and then the fact that sort of people involved in it just have a great care for it.
Yeah,
and actually HBO are respectful enough to give decent budgets and decent...
It's fantastic. I mean, again, let me tell you, the jobs out there that I'm looking at, no budget, I mean, people are incredibly appreciative of what we've done, but it's a very, very special situation, this. Absolutely.
So many friends of mine who design say they go for jobs and they go, yeah, we wanted to look like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But then, that's easy to say, but it's difficult to... on £2.99.
Absolutely.
Carving knife. Let everyone alive has to bow.
And the thing is, there's so much depth to Game of Thrones. It's not just about sort of...
And have you gotten any trouble?
Well, it was written by George R. Martin, obviously thought and planned, and it's such a big, strong piece. It's not like a little script that's been written or another readaptation of yet another piece. It's actually something which is quite fascinating and existed before
and
this
original.
happened.
I mean, it's original.
And how often do you now, if I see another Dracula or another, it's just
I know.
dull. How many
and I get offered a
ways
lot of
you look at
all
it?
those sort of things because I've done Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
And I think it doesn't mean to say that it's going to be the same or as interesting.
Oh my God, this is such a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah.
That's it.
I remember even being shocked even though I knew it was going to happen. It's a bit like the Ned Stark moment where surely they're not going to cut off his head.
Yeah.
And they cut off his hand.
They cut off his bloody hand.
I think it must be so exciting for people who actually don't know what's going to happen that it happens. You go, no, surely you can't do that.
But he'll survive, guys. It's all right.
Does he?
He will survive.
Oh, well, there we go.
There we go. Well, that was enjoyable.
Actually, it's quite good. Can we watch the next one, please? It's my only chance.
Oh, dear.
Interesting. It just seems such a long time ago already, because...
It does. It really does. We finished last November, you and I.
Yeah.
And then they went on doing all the work, all the post-production work. But
and I went to LA a bit to do the fighting stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that job in between.
Every time I get the other thing, whenever I go for a job, everybody wants to talk about Game of Thrones. Even if I'm going to see about a modern thing, they go, "How did they do so and so?" And it's incredible.
It's funny, isn't it?
It
will always be with you.
Yeah, it will, which is fine. I mean, I'm terribly proud of it.
And you should be. My God. There we go.